Welcome in, everyone. Week 10. We made it to double digits.
Oh, my gosh. I thought we'd be canceled by now.
Yeah, me too. But, Coach, last week was a big week in sports. I mean, you guys are coming off a big win versus Kennedy. Very highly anticipated matchup that I think you guys really played one of your best games, I would say, all season, especially in the second half. You guys really showed up in the second half. Let's get right into the highlights because I think a key thing in this game was the defensive line.
Yes.
And when you're playing against teams that like to run the ball, when they do this, when they go in the spread, you have to make them pay for it. And one person I do want to highlight, too, that came in big in the second half as well was Nathan Rossetti, Nick Rossetti's younger brother. Kid brought a firepower to this defense. And right here, too, I mean, the defensive line really got pressure, I think, all night. And in the second half, I think the biggest difference in the run game was it seemed like we were just filling the gaps with our backers a lot, too. Can you just kind of talk about their play?
Yeah, so during the first half, we felt like our D-line wasn't doing bad, but our linebackers were overflowing, and then specifically our weak side. So they ran trap against us quite a bit. So when we do that, Nick has to play over the top because it looks like Bucks, so or Sally's wide trap. So then the backside backer has to fill into that A-gap because it's play away. And we were really slow on that rotation. We made some changes defensively. We moved Robert Aguirre to that weak side linebacker. And then we also talked to our D-line about crossing face. And I think in the second half, obviously, we were able to make adjustments. And really, I mean, because Jay still had, I think, 156 yards.
I think he had 170 or something on max press. But the thing is, I wanted to mention this is, you mentioned that trap play that they ran. He busted that one for, I think, like 80, I don't know, maybe 70, 60 yards, and that was the majority, I think, of where his yards came from. And besides that, really, the most positive and consistent play they had, they ran like a tush push, and that's really hard.
Don't get me, that's such a, everybody complains about that, but, I mean, rightly so with how the Eagles do it and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you watch it, the center has his head over the ball,
right,
which is a neutral zone infraction. But the referees wouldn't call it. Like we talked to, he goes, Coach, that's kind of, splitting hairs. I go, no, it's not. Why can't my defensive lineman put his head over the ball? And they had no answer for me. So, it's but it sounds like somebody figured out a way to stop it. I think I saw something online.
Yeah, so the Broncos, I think it was the Broncos, they did something to where, was it the Broncos or someone else, where they just laid down in front of the center, and it worked. I don't know how it worked, but the Eagles were jumping off sides and stuff like that during the NFL game. I'll have to go back and look at it, but that was pretty funny.
Maybe there's just a chink in that armor. Yeah. But, I mean, the thing is with Kennedy, and this is the thing, they do a really good job of making you defend the whole field, even from the spread. I mean, we had some issues with fly sweep early. Second half, we did a better job. Not a great job, a better job from our safety spots because they're the ones that really have to fill down. But, I felt like Friday we did a good job, minus a few plays. We had some really boneheaded plays, offensively and defensively.
I think the biggest one on defense people remember is when he gets down to that minute, and I think you guys had him on third and long or fourth and
25.
And they hit that long post route over the middle
and it's
of the field.
Like, so, man, you should have been in film on that day. But it's just football knowledge, right? What do they have to do? And the thing was, we had an experienced guy with Mari back there and a sophomore who's a returning starter, and they just were flat-footed. And it's like you could talk about it and talk about it. We've been preaching that for a long time with football, with kids. But I'm hoping that last game will stick in their brains enough to where they think about down and distance. Yeah. You can't just be in the moment all the time. You have to be as much as we want to say football is not a thinking man's game, it's very much analytical and and you have to think. So, you take that pass away, it's 28-42. And that's without any of the other things, right? So I was really happy with the way we came out and played against a really good Kennedy team that does what they do, that has firepower. And I actually think, too, in the second half, I know we talked about it on the last week's show, they have a lot of guys that go both ways.
Yeah.
And so because of that, when they're against our spread, and specifically more
tempo.
is our tempo. it does take effect. As much as you don't want to admit it, it does take effect in little ways. And, I think we were able to do some things. And the additional changes we did on defense and then the addition of our pace really, I think, had an effect on them.
And then, guys, if we could bring up Easy's chasing history graphic. I want to say he passed the kid from Kalinga this past week.
No, he's not.
Yet?
He's less than 100 yards away.
Okay, and then
he's at 2. Yeah, he's at.
It seemed like a 1.
He's at 800. Yeah, 8,874, and the other guy's at 8,947.
So
45.
very well this
so
week
he
or
should
next
be,
week.
Well, God willing, yes, we should.
Yeah.
My goal is to get him to. I'm hoping we can get him at 91 this week.
By the time you go into Wasco.
And then I look at, I told my staff, then we have 5 games to get him 1,000 yards because I, as a coach, you always want to make sure that you're doing that and preparing for a Valley championship. And then, he jumps into third place all time.
111 touchdowns.
Yeah, 111. He's tied for third place, and hopefully he sets that this week.
And I think just to touch on his play a little bit, I think we talk about this a lot, but his calmness during the game. A lot of quarterbacks, when he threw that red zone interception, they would really get down on themselves, especially after they scored that next drive. But he came back. I think he threw three touchdowns after that. And I think one was the next series. I think he threw one. So
yeah, and the thing was that play was a series of unfortunate events. First off, our receivers came out and we had quads to one side, and my Rob, who was our outside receiver, set the quads 4 yards inside the numbers.
Yeah.
And we were like this. And so, that's another thing we talk about defensive backs, understanding situations. Yeah. That's my junior receiver not understanding we're in quads and he should be below the numbers. And that spreads everything out because they actually came out and defended it, something we hadn't even talked about. They were actually only 3 guys on 4 on the play side, but because we were so condensed, you couldn't even tell. I actually thought there was a backer walked out. And so, we all thought Mari would be singled up on the backside, but they didn't even they had 2 guys on the – anyway, it was they came out and did something totally different, but the play would have counteracted to it if we would have been spread out. We would have been fine. But because we weren't, now that corner that should have been way outside is only 3 yards from the guy that's at number 4.
Practically almost in the
now
box,
that errant throw that bounced off hands, there's nobody there.
Yeah.
So it's a cascading effect. But yeah, Easy came off and he was a little bit like not rattled but defensive about it. And then as he saw the highlights, like, okay, coach, because those moments, it is what it is. And he learned from it though. In that moment there, everything's muddy. Just throw the ball away and then we'll just come up with second down.
Well, it seems like a theme too. If we can go to Mari's graphic now, guys. When you guys pass for 200 and you rush for over 100, you're probably going to win that game no matter who you play. He had a big night. I mean, he averaged almost 11 yards a carry, and it was really evident. The stats say a lot. I mean, 206 yards, 19 rushes for 206 yards, and then he had that kickoff return late in the second half that probably should have been a touchdown.
That was another boneheaded move on our guys that you hope when you're young that your youth doesn't come out in bad times, and our youth came out in three moments in that game that really could have blown the game open. I mean, and that's the thing that they have to understand. When you get into big games, those little things are the difference between winning and losing. And because we should have put up 2 more touchdowns, I feel like, and left those on the field. So.
And I think a lot of those rushing yards, what I was impressed with was the offensive line and his play late in that fourth quarter. Because, I mean, they really, after they kicked the ball to us, they couldn't even call any timeouts or anything because I think on first down, you guys hit it for like 15 yards and the game was over. That's something that you need going forward in playoffs. You have to be able to run the football in all levels to win big games like that. So kind of just talk about briefly your offensive line.
Well, I mean, the O-line is I think the hardest thing, and this is coming from other coaches that have defended us, is the fact you have Ezekiel and Mariyon. Literally, we got a text from one of the coaches from another school and to one of our offensive line coaches says, Leo, really? An RPO on every run play? And the thing is, there's an RPO on every run play, and the RPOs can go to either side.
Right.
Normally, you set up as a quarterback just football type thing. When your quarterback opens up to the right, the RPO happens to the same side. And so we've now allowed easy to where if he likes it to the opposite side, it's a token fake and out. So you now have to, and Kennedy had to make that choice, and I think you saw that a little bit. That was the least amount of blitzing that I've seen a Kennedy team do.
And least amount of movement, I think, pre-snap.
And I think it was because of how much they were so worried about easy throwing the ball. And they're not big throws, but they're easy, completable balls. And then what that gave us was Mariyon being able to run the ball. And so you do have a choice to make when you play our offense of you're going to give easy the easy completions on RPOs, or you're going to take away Mari. And then now with that, the offensive line did a really good job. We prepared for the worst. I mean, Kennedy's defense is so difficult because of how much they move, and how much they do different gap schemes, stuff like that. Delano does a lot of the same thing. Wasco does a lot of the same thing. So when they came out and kind of did what they did defensively, it didn't necessarily clean up the reads for our offensive line, but it did make things, I wouldn't say easier because their guys are talented athletes, but it did allow us to kind of lock in on what they were doing and stuff like that. And they would bring 4 a lot, but but the offensive line did a really good job. When you have your offensive line coming off the field go faster because they're already getting tired. That was a really big deal. So, the O-line had a really good game. Only a couple of mistakes we need to fix and stuff, but they played a solid game.
And then now we're going to switch it over to our tennis correspondent, Eric. And, Eric, they've been having a great season, so let's see what he can say.
Yeah, Jackson, a little bit more about tennis is that we're a small school, but this tennis team is really doing big things. If you look at their win on their senior night, they got an 8-1 win, which adds to their SSL record, of course, which makes them 12-0 in league, which means they're undefeated. If you look at the graphic there, it'll show their current SSL record, which I said 12-0. I'm not sure if they're going to go to playoffs. I will let you guys know next week. But yeah, anyways, back to you, Jackson.
So, it's tennis. You have 2 different things going on. You have your team and you have your individual. Yeah. Okay, so your team, they are going to go to the playoffs and team. They just don't know what division they're going to be at. They've had 2 good years. Last year they made it to the Division 4 Valley Championship match and lost. And now they had another good year, and CIF loves, it doesn't matter who you are. They love punishing you if you have a good season. So I would probably suspect that tennis will be going up. I don't know. Coach Maldonado told me that he's not sure, but there's a good opportunity they might be in D3. But, I mean, for a school like Shafton, we talked about it last year, tennis is a country club sport.
Yep.
Many of the girls that come into our program have never picked up a racket before. So for them to be able to have the success they're having, it just speaks kudos to what Coach is doing and the dedication those girls have to learn a sport that they don't have any exposure to before. And I think the SSL tournament may be this weekend or it's next weekend, I think. So
I want to say it's this weekend. I think I've seen something that
it usually is. Usually it's at Wasco because they have the most courts over there. So if it is this weekend, good luck, ladies. Go and try to get that individual invitation to the CIF playoffs.
And then we're going to switch to another lady general sport. The volleyball team still on fire. They're 30-1 now. They beat Kennedy last night. It was their senior night. They beat them 3-0. I believe we have some plays. Go ahead and roll on some of the clips, too, from that game if we can.
The thing that watching the game, I always get on the girls a lot about how they come out mentally. And last night was one of those nights where it's easy to get caught up in the Sid can hit the ball.
Yeah,
so it's easy to get caught up in the emotion of everything. But they did a really good job, I think, of managing those emotions because anytime you do you remember your senior night?
Kind of, yeah. Well, ours was on Wasco, too, so it could be a lot because it's just you got to see your parents before the game, and, everyone's kind of sad. And
so, that's another thing I hate about Wasco the week. But they handled that. I thought they came out a lot more focused against a team that they should beat 3-0 because they're going to need that. They got one more game. I think the graphic is for next game is, they end the season at Wasco, who they beat. I think they beat 3-0 last time. They need to have. I think they need to really come out and exert themselves as a team to really put them on that edge for the playoffs. They're probably going to be a number 1 seed.
I think I seen Trevor Horn put on his Twitter yesterday that right now it looks like in Division 4 they'll be the 1 seed, and Emmanuel, the team that beat them last year in the semis, will probably be the 2 seed. So, I mean, once you get it, volleyball is one of those things where it depends really who plays club volleyball a lot of the times and where those kids are at. And it's just kind of interesting, like Emmanuel, right? They're not a huge school, but they have a really great volleyball team, and they always have big kids everywhere.
You only need 6.
Yeah,
I mean it's like you only need to have 6 people to be good at volleyball. Yeah. So as long as it's the right 6, you don't need very many kids on your campus. So they're going to have they're going to hit those private schools that usually have the higher quality volleyball programs, because many of those kids have been playing volleyball since they were little kids in clubs. So I think they have a team to do it this year. I think they have I think more than anything, I don't think there's nothing new that they haven't gone through as a team. So, I'm looking forward to them hopefully hosting the first ever Valley Championship, section championship here at Shafter High School for volleyball. And that'd be a really cool thing for us to have here. And so, ladies, keep it at it, man. It's fun to watch you guys play.
And, guys, now we're going to go back to football real quick. We're going to show the SSL records going into week 4 of league play. You guys in Wasco right now 3-0, excuse me. Kennedy's 1-2. I think something people probably didn't expect coming into the season. Delano is 0-3, and Chavez, the team you got this week, is 1-2, as well as Taft is 1-2. How about Chavez beating Delano last week? That was
watching that game, man, Delano kind of imploded.
They scored 13, right, Chavez, in the fourth quarter, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Delano's quarterback threw 3 picks. Delano's quarterback's one of those kids that he's either a blessing or a curse because of the nature of his play. He does so much freelancing that sometimes freelancing just gets you hurt, and it kind of happened against against Chavez. And so Chavez said that was their senior night. They were playing on a lot of energy and stuff. Tonight, actually, our game's their senior night. But they came out and kudos to Chavez, because they took advantage of every mistake that Delano made and scored. Especially, Delano scored with, I think, a minute and a half left or something like that. And then Delano had a personal foul on the PAT. By the way, the quarterback for Delano was ejected, so he's not even going to play against Wasco.
Yeah.
So he gets the personal foul that ejects him on the PAT.
Oh, he got it then.
Yes.
Okay.
So he already had he had a personal foul earlier in the game. Turn me down a little bit, guys. I'm into the red.
And then we could go back.
Then he gets a personal foul, gets tossed but they're on defense, so you can't really tell very much. And, anyway, so it's like, so game. Now he doesn't play. They kick off from it's a 15-yard penalty. So they're kicking off from instead of their 40, they're kicking off from their 25-yard line. Chavez gets the ball and returns it so they start on Delano's 45-yard line with 30 seconds left. It's like the perfect storm.
Yeah.
That's why I said Delano, man, just ran out of toes. They just hurt themselves all night. But even with that, 3 turnovers, mistakes, and everything else, it was a 1-point game.
Yeah.
So, when you give a team, it doesn't matter how overmatched you are over them, 3 extra possessions, and you take 3 possessions away from yourself, it's a tough game to win.
And also, shout out to Chavez's kicker, though. I think he's won them 2 games.
Yeah, I know.
Technically,
Clutch,
and he's a big old dude. If you see him out there,
he's a big
character. If we can go to the matchups now this week, guys. The first one I believe we got is Kennedy versus Taft. I mean, I think Kennedy rolls in this one.
I think Kennedy gets back on the winning streak. I think Kennedy rights some wrongs. Taft for all. I think Taft has had for what they have, Coach has done a good job getting the wins that they've gotten.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I just think it's an overmatch between them and Kennedy. I think Kennedy takes out a little bit of aggression.
And I think Kennedy, too, by the time playoffs come around, they will be an improved team. They seem to get better as the season goes on.
Well, I mean, when you have that offense, it grinds people, man. So, yeah, they'll be fine later on down the stretch.
And then if we can go to the next one, guys.
Which we could see them again.
Right, in Division 3. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. Wasco versus Delano.
That's Delano,
Yeah.
not Taft.
Battle of the Tigers, I guess you could say. I think Wasco wins this one here, too. I think their offense will get going early. And Wasco's just playing with an enormous amount of confidence right now, which helps out. And Delano without their quarterback is going to hurt them.
Well, it depends on what coach decides to do.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a guy at running back that's not a bad athlete. You know, do you do the Mariyon Sloane offense and just put a H in front of him and run the ball? So we'll see what Coach Gonzalez decides to do over at Delano.
And then finally us, you're traveling to Chavez. It's their senior night. And how do you feel when a team's coming off a upset victory like that? That can make them a dangerous team, really, if you're coming in.
Confidence is so much in sports. I mean, that confidence breeds confidence, and so they're going to come out and you're going to see everything because they need one more win to make it to the playoffs,
right?
And they have us in Kennedy, so they have to try to pull out a win, and they're going to throw everything at us and. I think we have a good opportunity to do some things. I'm looking at us as a team. I've challenged the kids to don't allow it to be a hangover from last week. Let's make sure that we handle our due diligence and beat a team that we should beat. And I'm not trying to be cocky, but we should beat them. And I just think
don't. And obviously, you're probably echoing. Don't look ahead to.
And that's week. That's why there's some stipulations on our teams this year for against Chavez just to keep them focused. But the thing is with our senior class this year, they've gone through it all and they've done a really good job of week to week and not allowing themselves to look forward. I don't expect that again this week. I expect us to come out and do what we do, but I want us to be doing what we do on a level that is mentally ready for what we're prepared for. I told them, hey, playoffs start today.
Yeah.
This week we have to treat that because ultimately we are now playing for the number 1 seed,
and that's a big deal because you guys had the bye week early, and I was thinking about this. If you could get that first week bye in the playoffs, it's huge. I mean, it gets your team healthy. It's a really big difference. I think that's probably something that's overlooked even in high school football. That first round bye is huge.
Yeah, and it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, if you're playing really
rolling,
well, it's like, dude, let's just keep rolling.
Yeah.
But it also opens up things. I mean, I look back at like your junior year when you got hurt. Was it junior or sophomore? When you hurt your leg?
Sophomore year.
Sophomore year, we were playing in a first-round game that was against a team that I felt like shouldn't have went to the playoffs, and you got injured.
Yeah.
So there's one way or another. I mean, it's just – but I kind of lean on I'd rather have that week off to get healthy, especially with us having such an early bye week. But, that's a big thing. I mean, but we got to do what we got to do, man. It's this week and then the nightmare of Wasco week.
I don't want to look too far ahead too, but that I know coaches and the playoff system's all jacked up, but Division 3 is probably the most exciting playoff division there is. You got some schools up north that are Justin Garza's a really good team up north. They have a really good quarterback too. And I believe Golden West is in that division too. It's going to be exciting.
And some teams that Shafter hasn't played.
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, I've played some of them when I was at Bakersfield Christian because we were in D3. So I have some. That's freaking 12 years ago, man. But still, it's one of those things where there's. When you move up divisions, because this would be actually a 3-division upload for us.
Yeah.
Because we're base D5, we played in D4, now we're up in D4 playing in D3. So we've actually moved up 3 places, and so it's exciting. I think it's always fun to play new teams and get to witness that stuff. But on the flip side of it, it is so much better to do it in your house, and that's the thing that I told my guys on Monday. We are playing for home field advantage. Yep. And I really firmly believe we are one of the hardest places to come in and play at. Oh,
the atmosphere is, it's not like none other, especially for high school. When you get that light show going and the lights go complete dark, and you got Nick Rossetti holding an American flag running at you, it's going to mess with your mind a little bit. It would mess with me a little bit. But also, I just want to tease the next week before we let you guys go. There won't be no show Wednesday next week, but Friday before the game, we're going to have a huge show loaded with interviews. People are going to come in. I believe next Monday I'm going to go to Wasco. I'm going to interview Coach Wadle, so we'll have something from them. And then I'm trying to get Alex Aguilar former Shafter QB, to come on the show next week.
Oh,
I'm
that'd
really
be fun.
texting him.
Yeah, that'd be great to see
Kind
Alex.
of, Will Waterhouse might show up, and Pedro's going to be there. So we're going to try to make it a little reunion show. A lot of fun. So it will be a fun show. It will be a fun day. So just stay tuned for that. That'll be Friday, probably around 5 o'clock, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we'll run that before the game. So it'll probably either be probably a 6 or 5:30 start, depending on how much we have. So, yeah, the show will not be on Wednesday. We will have it on Friday before the game.
Sounds good. Well, Coach, thanks for
Hey,
joining us
man.
again.
Hey,
Week 10.
episode 10.
Let's go. Not canceled yet. which
Yes,
is
not
nice.
canceled. Yeah, I haven't got, and I also haven't got a call from Netflix about wanting to syndicate our show.
See,
either.
I think I'll take Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus. We'll take whatever we can get. But thank you
Call
guys. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next Friday.